Hey guys, it's Disco Spider, and as a kid I didn't really watch much Nickelodeon shows, except for a few, and ChalkZone was one of the few that I actually did watch. However, every time I think about ChalkZone, I always mix it in with the other 2000s Nickelodeon cartoons that I always thought were just mixed. There were some good ones, but a lot of them just were really forgettable and not really that great. However, rewatching the show, it actually is pretty good. The premise of the show is about a boy named Rudy who's got the chalk, a magical chalk to be precise, that gives him power to draw a portal into ChalkZone, a place where all of the drawings that's ever been erased on a blackboard with chalk goes. The chalk also allows him to draw whatever he wants in the ChalkZone, and it becomes a reality. When I saw the first episode, I really thought the premise of the show was really cool, a whole land of drawings, and that just made me really interested in the show. However, you know, the actual ChalkZone, the land of ChalkZone, although it does look cool, there isn't that many memorable places that they visit, or places that they go to more than like 2 or 3 episodes. They usually like bring up a place that looks really cool, but they don't really return to it except for maybe once or twice in the entire series. In fact, when they go to ChalkZone, all it is just, you know, just grass and trees. There's no buildings or anything. There's no like a city of chalk, or there is, but we don't really get to see that. And that was really disappointing, but however, the atmosphere is still pretty nice, and I would love to go into the ChalkZone just to see the whole place. It would look really cool. And being a cartoon about drawings, the characters must be really memorable, right? Well, first off, we have our main character, Rudy, who's the boy with the chalk. However, he doesn't really have much of a personality except for he likes to draw, although they don't explore that type of artistic side to him. He's just your typical 8 to 10 years old. I don't know how old he is. He's just a kid who likes to draw. That's all we really know about him. He doesn't have that much characteristics, so he kind of comes off as a bland character. And then we have Penny, who's your typical brainiac girl who, yeah, she can be boring when she's the side character in episodes, but when there's an episode fully about her where she's kind of the main character, she's actually quite enjoyable and a little interesting. And then we have my favorite character, Snap, who is Rudy's favorite drawing. As a kid, I always thought this character looked so cool. I didn't really remember the show that much as a kid, except for Snap. He was the one character who, like, I was thinking of cartoons, and then I just he popped into my head. I'm like, oh yeah, he was in a cartoon. What show was he from? And I never really remembered the actual show, but I remembered him. And in the show, he's your typical comedic sidekick, as he hates to be called, and he's just a really interesting and at times can be funny character. And my favorite episodes are of course the ones that star Snap in ChalkZone, with all the wacky things he does and just interacting with ChalkZone. Although he does live there, it's still cool to see him, and he's just my favorite character. And as for the other characters in the land of ChalkZone, we do see a few of them in a few episodes, like we have Biclops, Spyfly, Queen Rashiba, the Man in the Hot Tub, Scrawl, and Blocky. However, we don't see them that often. Besides Scrawl, all these characters appear in maybe 2 or 3 episodes as like side characters, and they do appear quite often, but there's no episode that focuses them. Like, we have a lot of episodes that Snap is the main character, and we don't have, like, you know, Blocky, who has his like a few episodes about him, or the Man in the Hot Tub. He's barely in the show, and I remember quite a bit of him as a kid. And although, yeah, Scrawl, he gets a few episodes, but he's an interesting character, but I would have liked for him to have a better backstory, because his backstory is just very weak. And then as for the animation, I really like the look of the chalk characters, and just the land of chalk. They do look chalky, and I think they look stylistic, and like I said before, Snap and the Man in the Hot Tub always stood out for me, especially Snap. I can, like, every time I think of the character, I just think of that specific style, and it just looked really cool. And then as for like the real life people, like Rudy and Penny and stuff, they still do look nice, and they have a little stylistic charm to them. So ChalkZone was actually a pretty good show, although yeah, a lot of characters didn't get their time to shine and get a little bit more development and more screen time, and we don't get a lot of memorable places in the land of ChalkZone. But however, I still think it's a good cartoon. Yeah, I definitely say go watch the show. It's not like the greatest Nickelodeon show. So yeah, let's go Spider, and peace out.